Yeah. Hello, everybody. It's me, it's Andy, here for Moon Poopin' 2 Podcasto time. Beginning of the stream, starto, before we actually get the ball rolling. Hello, Mikey. He here?
He here, kind of here.
Oh.
Hi, world.
Yeah, your audio's actually working this time round. I don't need to change anything straight off the bat. That's a nice change.
Yeah.
Nice. Hooray. How's Mikey? Mikey doing good because you weren't here last week?
Yeah, no, it's been busy. Very busy.
Good busy? Bad busy?
I'll mention it in the show, but busy.
Oh my god. Okay.
So, yeah, and then, boy, howdy did today end up different than I planned.
Oh my god. But good different.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's just wasn't planning that.
Wow. Well, you came back for a good news week, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, well, I brought the news with me, didn't I?
Oh my god, did you howdy. Boy, howdy, did you. Hoo, lordy lord. We can get straight into the poopcast if you like, Mikey.
Well, I feel like that is literally why we're here.
Yeah, we could do. Well, we're here to have fun and chat and all that stuff as well. It's not just about the poop, it's about the lads' time with the boys. No?
I don't know.
Oh.
Who are the lads?
Well, me and you, the only people on the podcast talking to each other.
I don't know if we'd ever count as lads.
What do you mean? We're lads. We're both men. We're lads.
Lads just has a connotation, and I'm just like, nah.
What kind of connotations, Mikey?
I don't know. I just hear lads, and I think of someone who's not Andy and Mikey.
I'm told that we're not supposed to stereotype these days, Mikey. And it sounds like that's a stereotype that you're bringing to the table. Tisk, I say to that, sir. Tisk. All right, let's get the music rolling, and we can start pooping. All right, music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast with me, Andy, and him, Mikey. No?
He just had coffee.
Oh, were you in the midst of taking a drag of coffee?
I was in the midst of taking a drag of coffee.
Oh my god. Can you take coffee intravenously? Like, is that bad for you if you do it that way?
Well...
Not hot, obviously.
It's a complicated thing, because technically it's... I mean, you could have it in your bloodstream, yes, but it's complicated.
That's why I thought. I didn't think you'd be able to just IV yourself up with coffee. I wanted to say as well, not boiling hot coffee, because I imagine if I don't know, because I've never had an IV, I would imagine having boiling hot liquid or very, very hot steamy liquid IV inside of your veins is probably not a pleasant feeling, right?
Well, remember, it goes into your stomach and then it gets broken down and all the things you need to get taken out of it, in this case, stimulants.
Yeah.
Stimulant makes up relatively little amount of the coffee. Mm-hmm. So, the hot water, the various different chemical compounds in the coffee, like sugar and all that, that doesn't necessarily go into your blood. So, what would probably happen if you directly plug that into your blood is you'd probably end up poisoning yourself. Really?
Yay!
Don't do that.
All I remember is that if you want to get drunk quicker, you gotta go like Eyeball Paul did in Kevin and Perry Go Large, and you drink vodka by opening your eye, putting the bottle to your eye, and tipping the bottle back, so you got the vodka going into your eye.
Would you believe? Right?
Yeah.
Would you believe? That is incredibly dangerous.
What? No.
Would you believe that that's actually something that you should never, ever do?
Next, you're gonna be telling me, Mikey, that you shouldn't be drinking bleach. You shouldn't be setting a bowling ball on fire and throwing it back and forth to your mates. You shouldn't be getting alcohol and drinking it through your anus as well. Are you going to tell me these lies as well, Mikey? Is this what you're going to do? You're going to spread your lies?
I don't even know how the last one works.
Well, you get the ball, right? And instead of doing it with your eyeball, you just do it into your ass. Right?
That's just sex, Andy.
I don't think sex involves a bottle of beer, but maybe I'm not as adventurous as you might
For some people, it does involve a bottle going up your ass.
Well,
what are we talking about? I'm tired. I have an excuse. What's your excuse?
Oh, I'm Andy. Hey, how's it going, Mikey?
True.
I have fun. I talk about things that people might not want to know, but people have not thought about.
No, that is true, but I feel like the first part is the important part of that sentence.
I don't know. I think people get enjoyment about going like, if someone places down an idea and they go, oh, I've never thought about that. Oh, I wonder what the discussion around that would be. And thus the conversation starts, right?
I think it's more like, I've never thought about that. Why haven't I thought about it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but isn't that like a learning experience? You can learn about things that you wouldn't intentionally go out your way to learn, or you're too afraid to know the answers to.
Oh God,
what? I'm just saying aliens exist, Mikey.
I also think aliens exist. I don't think they're here.
Lizard people, Mikey. Everyone's a lizard person except me. I'm the only monkey man left. You're all fucking lizard people.
I'm the only primate left in this godforsaken world. Get your damn dirty hands off me, you damn dirty crocodiles.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think of the lizard people, crocodiles might be the least egregious.
Why?
Because I don't have a good opinion. Like snakes, right? Snakes are always portrayed as bad in media. And faith, like religious connotations. The snake is never looked at in a friendly term.
Well, the snake is part of the symbol of like medicine.
That's true. But I don't think anybody like gets a snake and goes, "Well, I'm okay now."
Are you saying that people just pick up a snake and say, well, I feel better?
Well, look, it's got 2 syringes on it, so why don't I just inject these into me? What harm could it do? It's medicine. Right?
I'm just trying to picture that now. No. Well, some people have done something similar, but no, we won't. That's the complicated thing.
What if snakes, instead of having venom, had it's not DMT. What's the weird stuff people take to go on like psycho trips?
LSD?
Not LSD. There's other stuff as well. It's like LSD. It's the stuff Joe Rogan's had before. Ayahuasca.
Oh, ayahuasca.
Yeah, imagine there was a snake out there.
I remember that not because of Joe Rogan, but because like whenever it was like someone famous has had this, it's always ayahuasca.
Yeah, it's the trendy drug to get like off your face on these days. Ayahuasca's the stuff. Imagine there was a snake that you could just like pick up, like you poke the top of his head, his fangs come out, and you just like into yourself. You're like, ooh, there's my trip. It's like Homer picking up the toad and licking the toad in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Is there a toad you could lick and it'd be okay, but have a fun trip on? You know animals.
Technically, yes.
Okay, which one? Just out of curiosity.
I don't look up how to lick toads. Which are the most reliable licking toads?
You worked in a zoo. Are you telling me you never looked at these things?
Yes.
What? What were you doing at the zoo?
Not licking toads.
No, you're not having a good life, Mikey. You're just missing opportunities. Opportunities placed in your hand, potentially, if those toads or frogs were there. Think of all those toads' backsides he didn't lick. Think of them.
Hey guys, can you guess how much news we have this week?
Not a lot. Not a lot. But we do have some Transformers news this week. I just need to figure out which one's the doodad. That's the doodad. Boom. We're going to kick off this week talking about NewAge toys. H44Y Denver. Not Denver, Colorado, just Denver, the last dinosaur. I'm sure that's the reference. It is the NewAge toy Grimlock. And unsurprisingly, since Hasbro pioneered the now it's okay to do the unreleased G2 version, I guess everybody else is going to do this now as well. Because they didn't do this prior to Hasbro releasing theirs, which I made a note of. But it's G2 unreleased Grimlock, so hey-ho, that's kind of nice. It's exactly what you would think it is. It is the G2 unreleased Grimlock. I don't think it's got anything new. It might have an interesting combination of accessories, but I'm not entirely sure. He comes with toy sword and a cartoon gun, I guess, and then just your standard slappy hands, closed fists, and then the leg covers, which are apparently super important.
And for some reason, is portrayed in a swimming pose.
Well, yeah, he's
Is that referencing something in this Denver thing? I remember
I
what
don't
Denver looked like. I never saw Denver.
You never watched Denver the Last Dinosaur?
Not really.
Really? I mean, I didn't really watch it too much. I know of it. I saw like a few episodes, but not. I never watched it at my house. It was always like at a childminder's house. I would watch it and be like, I'll do anything.
And they were
else.
like, "Sir, I'm not actually here minding you."
No.
And you're just like, "Excuse me, it says childminder. Sir, you are 25."
Childminder, have you ever considered about getting a snake and it coming with ayahuasca sauce inside of it? What are you talking about?
She's just got a baby and she's like milking a snake over a baby. Sir, these questions are irrational.
Don't ask what my secondary business is. We don't want to know. Mikey, what do you think of this Grimlock? Do you like it? Because you were okay on the NewAge Grimlock. Do you think he's been done justice in these cool
I mean, I think he looked good. I think boat mode looked very strong. Posability's on the point. There's not too much to talk about. Like the striping's a bit better than the official one on the tail. Still doesn't go up far enough, in my opinion. I think they could stripe the back.
Yeah.
There is striping on the legs in this case, which does make the shoulders of the robot mode pop a bit. But these are just like really attractive colors.
Yeah, they're solid.
Like these are stupidly attractive colors in my eyes. So I just think it looks really good.
Do you think there's a little bit of because the original artwork was like that, they don't really want to push the tiger stripes too farther forward than what they've done? Do you think that's the problem here? Because I think that might be the issue. No one wants to be brave. No one wants to add the tiger stripes all over. I will say as well that I like the fact that they've got the tiny kind of, well, not tiny, but they've got the silver going across the dinosaur chest as well, mostly. I think that helps a little bit more break up just the solid yellow, because I don't think the Studio Series Hasbro version has that. But like you say, I'm glad to see there's a little bit of almost like, not tiger stripes, but dino pattern, like almost scale. But it needed more. It needed more of that on it, I think. But yeah,
definitely.
Nice to see. Nice to see. Like I said before, I feel that this is only done because Hasbro put out their version and like, oh, well, I guess we could get another repaint out of this.
Yeah, it does. It does weirdly feel like there was a vibe of like, oh, it's okay now.
Yeah, which is weird because it's a third-party company. It's just like,
yeah.
Do you think it was more like the rationale was, I guess people are interested if Hasbro's putting their version out, so I guess we should put ours out. I guess
maybe, but I've always found it a little strange. No one's touched on this before.
I think so as well.
Ever. Yeah. Like it's been very strange to me. So, if Hasbro's saying okay, then cool. But feels like someone should have tried this sooner.
I agree. I am. Are you looking forward to the G2 Dinobot repaints for the core class figures, Mikey? Consider.
I think I'll hold out for
something that's
Dino
not
King.
ass. Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't hold out for Dino King either, but maybe you'll still get the Dino King. XL Hedge says swimming ? Tiger Shark Grimlock. Yeah, maybe that's it. Tiger Shark Grimlock. Is that the idea?
No. No.
Are tiger sharks not a bright yellow? With,
would not there's have to be some sort of shark element to this?
Mm-hmm. Add a fin to his back.
Fine, do it, but that's not what they did.
Bitch. Do it, coward. I dare you.
You think I'm afraid of you? Do it.
All right, so that's Grimlock. Mikey, you had a story that I don't have listed here, so you may as well take that.
Yeah. This is a quick one. So there was a Q&A last week on various Transformers things, and one of the things that came out was they were talking about Studio Series, and Studio Series would expand, and maybe it will do IDW lines or other lines, and basically admitting the fact they ran out of toys to do for the movies. But then they came out and said something like, for Gamer Edition, we had trouble getting hold of the CAD models because Activision isn't sure what hard drives the games are on in their building. What is it? Company eats a company. Things get lost. Very frustrating. So yeah, they were saying that they lost it and it was awkward and they didn't have access to a lot of the assets for Fall of Cybertron, they had everything. For War for Cybertron, they had to rip it themselves from games because Activision couldn't find it. They kept sending some concept art, which we didn't want. We used the CAD. So this led to a lot of discussion online. People saying Activision are fucking morons. Blah 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 blah.
I mean, that's true.
Yes. What I'm about to say is not defending Activision in any way, shape, or form. But apparently, strangely enough, Activision heard about this and took it a little personally.
Oh, okay.
And a representative came out on Twitter and said, "These headlines are wrong. We have the code. It's not lost and never was."
Oh.
Which is surprisingly forthright.
Did Hasbro have a response to that, or have they just kind of shut up?
They did.
Oh.
Hasbro had an official statement, so I feel like someone at Activision came to them and said, "What the fuck, dude?" To clarify, comments that suggest Transformers games have been lost were made in error. We apologize to Activision and regret any confusion. They have been great partners, and we look forward to future opportunities to work together.
Yeah.
Now, a bit of speculation, but the comments made in the Q&A were very specific. So I think something was going on a little bit behind the scenes. But as a reminder, the reason we don't have access to the Activision games is not because they lost the hard drives and, oh, now they have them, we're all getting them back again. Because I saw some people say that, like, have started, like, tweeting at Activision, like, saying, so when are we getting the games again? And it's like, they lost the license. Like, even in the Cybertron story here, it says, turns out license was never an issue as has long been speculated. It wasn't speculated. They lost a lot of money and weren't able to renew the license with Activision, and all the games got pulled. The games didn't get pulled because they lost the hard drives. Because they'd still been up on the various stores and Steam and everywhere else. The games got pulled because the license wasn't able to be renewed. Because they didn't make as much money in the 2016-2017 period as they assumed they would. And yeah, Activision pulled them out. The only way you're getting it back is if Hasbro renews their license with Activision. If they renew their license with Activision, I will guarantee you that within 6 months, some of those will, like, I would say War and Fall will be available. Devastation, maybe.
Yeah, because I imagine all that they have to do is just flip a switch on Steam and go,
oh, yeah,
they're out again, or Xbox Live or PlayStation Online.
Yeah, like they don't have to it's not like they have to update it for current console generations or anything like that, because current console generations can handle all the old, like, PlayStation literally has access to the entire PS4 library.
There might have to be, like, some coding things for it to work, but I can't imagine it would be desperately difficult. Yeah. It's not like they need to debug the game. It'll just be, does this work on this console? Yes or no? Yes. All right, done.
Like, I could imagine maybe there's something on Xbox, just because I know Xbox works a little differently, but...
Sure.
Yeah. So I do want to just, like, if someone says to you it's not a licensing thing, it's blah blah blah. It's a licensing thing. It was speculated. They ended up losing $100 million one year, and they had from a movie, followed by huge revenue loss in toy sales, and they couldn't renew the license. That is literally what happened. But I just find it interesting, like, what was going on behind the scenes that Activision actually came out and publicly said it, like, of all things.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like a legal issue where someone says and they have to stand up and go, no, because maybe it makes them look incompetent and they can't look incompetent for other business ventures or for some sort of public relations. That might be a reason about it, I suppose. But until last week, there was the potential that it wasn't a licensing issue anymore. And now this week, now we know that, nope, still a licensing issue. Too bad. What else did you think about those questions, Mikey? Because I went through a vast majority of those on stream last week, because Axel Hedge in chat said I should, because clearly he hates me. And a lot of them caused me pain from how stupid some of the questions were. What did you think of them?
Let me just, I haven't looked at that Q&A in a bit. So,
the first load, the way the TFW would sectioned them out. The first load were fine. There was like the Activision stuff and a few other ones which were fine. And then they had below that the trashy ones, which were the pain causes, I find.
Oh yeah. Let me just get them up, because might as well give an opinion on any of them.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading them at the time, but I didn't read them. Okay, the show floor Q&A. Like, there were some, like, surprisingly detailed ones in this.
Yeah.
I remember. So... yeah, no, give me the news story. Give me the news story.
No news.
Give me the news story. Oh dear, I'm gonna have to go back over.
While you do that, Axel Hedge says, in quotations, "It's not lost and never was." End quotations. BS, prove it. Give us the games then.
I would say whenever a company gives you a literal, "It is not this way, it is this way," they are covering their ass, but they also are very confident that they can back it up.
Yeah.
Because there's no like company speech in that. That's just like, we have the fucking game.
It would be like it was surprising to read and think that they had no idea what were in these boxes or hard drives. I thought that was odd. I was like, well, okay, but these guys wouldn't be lying, would they? It's like, oh no.
I could see them telling Hasbro, like, toy designers that. To be honest.
We lost some. Fuck off. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, like, kind of. Yeah, like, we don't. You are so unimportant in the grand scheme of what we do.
Yeah, you're not currently giving us money. We don't need to worry about sorting this shit out for you. Who cares? Go away.
Yeah, you don't give us any money. We don't give you any money. Your game's made a tiny fraction of our sales. Like, why would we give a shit? Because, like, we might like them, but they didn't even make a dent in the wider market. That's okay. Let's see. Gamer Edition, is it limited? Like, basically, would we be getting Dinobots and Bruticus, or would other games be possible? Someone said, like, they made a joke about Mystery of Convoy, which with the dot deco and just something like that. Yeah. I weirdly like that.
No,
I don't want it. I don't want it because there's no mold I want it on. But if it was done well, there's a really good Godzilla toy done like that.
Is it from NECA? Because they're the only ones I can think that do that stuff.
I don't remember.
I got really annoyed because NECA are the ones that I used as the example of. Jesus, because they just took like the Jason Voorhees and the Rambo figures and they just slapped on some paint in a pixely kind of way, and I think they look awful. I know what they're going for, but it's so cheap. And my other annoyance was we've got enough fucking repaints. Why are people begging for more repaints when we have so many these days? It's like, no more.
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Ask us if we'd consider comic publishers. Yep. Any more video game franchise collabs? We'd like to partner with other companies. Like, that's just a game. Maybe some. Here we go. Hey, what about with Warframe? Transformers Pokemon. Transformers Pokemon. No. They should have just said no. Some of these they should have just said no.
Well, no, because like if Nintendo came to them and said, we'd like to make some Transformers Pokemon stuff, I said that was easy money. They'd like, Pokemon's so popular these days, they'd probably do quite well selling Pokemon shit.
Yeah, I think they'd sell it, but they're like, Pokemon's licensing is like, they license everything, but their licensing is not cheap.
No, of course not. I wasn't talking about the legalities of how much money they would make, but from the licensing specifically. But if you were just like, hey, do you want to make some easy money? Potentially, Pokemon would be the thing. It would just obviously depend on, like you say, how much that cost would be at the end of the day.
Okay, now we're into the, hey, would you make a toy of this guy? 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 Just like,
maybe.
I mean, they can't. Maybe like, cool. Sure. Evan would like to. You know what? I believe that. Yeah. Evan would like to. Any plans for, like, this is, I never like when he's just like, hey, are you gonna make this toy? Hey, are you gonna make this toy? Hey, are you gonna make this toy? Because, like, they can't say it. They literally can't say it.
No, I know. We say it every time it happens too.
Yeah.
They keep saying
Oh
it.
my god, I'm just going through now, and it's like, hey, will you make this toy? Hey, will you make this toy? Evolution seems somewhat heavy on retools, repaints. Was this a conscious decision? It's more that we thought it was the best way to do those characters. No budgetary or extra constraints. It was just a plan. I do think that. Evan, love you, but that is corporate speak.
Yeah.
There is absolutely budgetary constraints in doing new molds of all the characters you've done repaints of.
Yeah, there's no way you look at some of the repaints and very slight retools they do. Like Knockout, right? Prime Knockout. There's no way you can tell me, like, no, this is the definitive version of Transformers Prime Knockout that you wanted to make. You're lying. You did it because it was an IDW crossover thing, and it's just cheaper and easier to do. Way easier to do than making a new mold, right? Like, Jesus.
Absolutely. Talking about why Polar Claw never got made.
Who fucking cares about Polar Claw?
Maybe I'd rather have Polar Claw than some characters, because I would like. Who did we get that was a Voyager in recent years that I'd rather have?
You cannot get rid of G1 characters. You cannot get rid of the G1s.
You asked me who I'd rather.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But in all honesty, Hasbro were never going to get rid of any of the G1 characters from Kingdom. Never.
There you go. Blaster's the first one to come, because I've seen him recently in shops again.
Which one? Because there's at least three Blasters? Yeah, there's Blaster, there's Billy, and then there's Shattered Glass.
Well, there's Blaster, there's Billy, there's Shattered Glass, then there's Kingdom Blaster, Legacy Blaster, one of which is more expensive than the other.
That's right, yeah, because they're the same mold, aren't they? There's no difference. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Did Menasor make combiners an easier sell? We had this question in 2016. Re-releasing Legacy Cosmos. Will we see Machine Wars? Will we see Predaking again?
We'd like to.
What would you like to do?
Not lie to the audience.
He just said, I'd like to do Team Bullet Train. Do Team Bullet Train.
There's no way the West will do Team Bullet Train.
Why not, Andy? Why can't I have nice things?
Well, because the West doesn't care about trains like Japan does. If Japan makes Team Bullet Train and America goes, we'll import them, it'll happen. Right?
True. What else? Plans for mainline releases affected by HasLab? Kind of, which is a polite way of saying no.
Yes. Yeah, I think I said that too.
Yeah. So, toy, would you make this toy? Would you make this toy?
I'll read out a thing while you're reading. XL Hedge says, we're getting Armada Wheeljack before Demolisher and Cyclonus. Of course, Hasbro's taking the cheap route. No, that's not true, XL Hedge. We're getting Shattered Glass Armada Wheeljack before Armada Wheeljack, before Demolisher, and before Cyclonus. Because I don't think people would be as eager to buy Shattered Glass Armada Wheeljack when the real Armada Wheeljack comes out, so they have to have that one first in a 2-pack. Then you get the Armada Wheeljack that people want.
I mean, I'd want Armada. I'd rather Shattered Glass Armada Wheeljack because I want that for a very specific reason.
Is it because of the other? Oh yeah, it's Gridman. Yeah.
But
most Transformers collectors who don't obsessively love Gridman, they
bad people.
Oh my God. Okay. It's still a shame he's just the goddamn sideswipe mold. Another mold that will not die.
The modern Seeker, the modern classic Seeker.
Well, no, because the modern classic Seeker's a thrice Starscream. He's the modern one.
Well, the modern classic, but like, I just don't think sideswipe will ever die. I think sideswipe will go on forever.
Yeah,
like just like the classic Seeker mold. Like you'll have 30 of them at one point.
It's starting to feel like it. Yeah.
And the last ones will fall apart in your hand. Would you redo the AoE Dinobots as commanders? We'd rather do them as Titans.
Would like
or do
to
some that scale with the core class figures. What led to? Here's one. What led to the creation of the separate Rise of the Beast mainline Deluxe Voyager lines? Kids-orientated line was exclusively based off of concept art we received. Studio series, we got more defined CAD models, but they updated them in the movie. Our figures are already so far in productions, we could not change anything. Well, that was very obvious. Rise. This is one interesting one. Rise of the Beast Air Razor, did it have a robot mode model or was it toy created for the toy? We created toy robot mode. It was not provided by the movie studio. So Rise of the Beast Air Razor does not have a robot mode CAD model. And based on what they're saying here, she didn't have a CAD model back in the early concept art days.
I think we can maybe infer from that. That's why there are two very different looking sets of Transformers, because Hasbro were never given any robot designs, which is odd.
Certainly for the early ones, but yeah. Anyway, live and learn. One of the issues they have is that I think some of the really the kid orientated line are better toys than the main line.
Yeah. Some of them better designs. Some of them.
Well, hey Andy, could Panels, Scorn, or any of the other newer Dinobots happen after the 86? I think they would continue to be in Legacy, and we would need to determine more G1ified versions of their designs. Panels is G1.
No. He's not G1 enough, Mikey.
I don't. Oh god, I'm trying to imagine him doing bloody Scorn, the Spinosaurus, and he would look so bad in a G1 way.
Well, realistically, which Dinobot mold would he be a retool of?
Grimlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. New head, new back piece.
Maybe new dinosaur head, maybe. Just to make it a Spinosaurus.
They can't really do a new tail.
No.
With how to transfer, and maybe redo the chest piece or something like that.
You can maybe incorporate the spine as a weapon on his back, so you just need to add a plug-in to his back and then make a Spinosaurus spine whip sword, I suppose. Maybe you do that way. And Paddles is just a retool of Sludge. So it's XL Hedge says, give me Team Bullet Train / Rail Racer Party Pooper Andy. I'm just saying, I have no faith in Hasbro these days. I'm going with the most corporate logic behind it. And both me and Mikey have talked about on the show, unfortunately, that the West don't care about trains generally. Not as much as Japan. That's why, I don't... do you remember when we used to get Masterpiece American releases? And we don't get that anymore. We definitely... Yeah, that's something that's kind of interesting. We haven't had an American release Masterpiece for years now. I can't remember the last American release version. I can tell you now, we definitely wouldn't be getting the train bots, the G1 train bots. Hasbro wouldn't do that, 100%, even if they still were doing it. XL Hedge also says, Black Mamba Grimlock is already a Titan. That is true. But Black Mamba Grimlock is a third-party figure.
Yes, he's a fourth-party figure because he's Black Mamba.
That's true. That is true.
What's next? Any Power Rangers crossover planned? We're surprised it hasn't happened. I actually like this answer because I think it actually makes a good point.
But it does kind of fall into the realm of we'd like to see it happen.
Yeah, but I think there is a point here, they're quite similar, so they don't stand out enough internally. My response to that would be that's true, but I would like to see the Transformers team make a Megazord. I would like them to take the design away from the Power Rangers team, because I think the Power Rangers team consists primarily of people who do action figures, and when John Warden might do Transformers, but most of his design team does not. And it is very much showing in the Megazords.
Really?
And in the handful of Megazords they've done, by the way.
Shouldn't the American Megazords be like the antithesis of the Japanese ones, where the Japanese ones are stuck in the old school mentality of we don't want them to have articulation and they need to be as simple as possible, because that's just how Japan wants their Megazords, and that's fine. So shouldn't until
that one guy's kid, that one designer's kid came in during Dom Brothers and complained, and he went, "Oh shit, we gotta put knees in." That's
true, but shouldn't the American version of that be we'll do the opposite and we'll make ours really articulated? Would that not be an interesting idea? Because you could probably sell those back to the Japanese audience as well. Right?
True, but I also think part of it is that involves more design work. More design work equals more money. But, that's fair. And honestly, I would also say there is some truth in saying okay, if you're going to do a Power Rangers Transformers crossover, what do you do? Do you give because it's going to, first of all, it is going to be the Dinosaurs. Don't convince yourself in any way, shape, or form it would be anyone else.
You do the Dinobots and you repaint them.
Yeah, oh god. Or like, if you're doing original modes, would you like give the individual dinosaurs robot modes? But then you have to do them as combiners, which means you're going to get the combiner thing of just like, well, one mode has to be compromised.
You could probably do the maybe not. Maybe you don't focus on the whole Megazord team. Maybe you go for something easier to sell. What's easy to sell? A Green Ranger, Dragon Zord. You only need to do one then. People love Tommy. They love Jason David Frank, so I could see that.
You know, it could be a Megazord, but what if we just give it an individual robot mode or something?
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah. Otherwise it's a bit too much of an investment for Hasbro to kind of go down that route, I suppose, because it would come out to be the same price as the Stunticons. So I don't think most people want that. A singular standalone thing is probably what they would prefer.
Yeah. We'll see. But let's see. Anything else interesting? What toy would you like? What toy would you like? What toy would you like? When is next HasLab being announced? Next fall? Hopefully. Did you see Theo's Unicron review?
I did. He hated it, and I was like, oh my god, it must be really bad.
Like, he also hates Prime stuff, but like, I would be wrong. I don't think the Prime Unicron toy is good, but I'd love the Prime Unicron concept, so I'm defensive of it.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah, well, that Unicron from Prime was exclusive to Japan, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was a Japan exclusive mold.
What did it turn into? I can't remember.
A volcano and a space chip.
Oh, that's right. It was a mess, wasn't it? That was so weird.
But like, you very much summed up my feelings toward HasLab Unicron, except I never had the and it's in my house and I'm having endorphins moment.
Yeah, no.
Like, I've only ever seen it as, not only is it not like, if you look at other large scale like robot figures, like just as robot action figures like Solo Chigokin or something like that, really big stuff, like the quality you get for about the same money is night and fucking day.
Well, less than Unicron most of the time, to be honest.
Well, not always less. Like, sometimes they'll pile it up. There's some Mazinger Solo Chigokins that are yeah.
That makes sense.
I think there's a Majin Kaiser that's like ridiculous money. But
oddly enough, I thought you would have said like Skull. For some reason, Majin Kaiser's skull, Mazinger's skull, to me, I don't know why, sounds like in my mind the one that would be like, this one's 1,000. I'd be like,
that's
no.
The weird thing about Skull is like it had 2 bad OVAs, and yet that design will never die.
No, well, it's too edgy.
A good design.
Yeah, it's too edgy.
It's a good edgy design. It's like he's got his chest right with the wings, but the wings come off and they're guns.
Yeah, the pistols.
But the guns are skulls.
And his sword's a weapon from Monster Hunter, basically. So it's got giant teeth on it. It's like, yep. People will want it. Of course they do. Great design.
But it's big. It's so big and made of a like, I have handled one now. I have the opportunity to handle one at least, and it is made of comparatively the same engineering style and processes that we have in other Transformer lines. So it doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like the quality isn't there handling it. It's just.
It's just big. Yeah, no, it's someone took a figure that's probably engineering-wise leader. Is that fair to say? And then just gone Control T and dragged the size up to make it big.
Nothing feels nice in it when I was moving it. Like, the ratchets aren't like, the ratchets are there because they need to be there, but they're not enjoyable ratchets to move. They always felt like, oh, this feels like it's going to break.
Yeah, well, Athu mentioned in his video, just like, you can't really pose it just because it's so heavy without the stand. I'm like, that makes sense.
And then the transformation is a nightmare, in my opinion. And apart from the fact, like, the transformate, he's a very large partial shell former.
Yeah.
And if you want a Unicron, there's a really, really, really good third-party one for like $200.
And if you don't want to spend that much, I think the Armada one's good.
Yeah,
it's not the best figure ever, but it's like, it's got some silly gimmicks which work and aren't too obstructive to the transformation or anything else. It's like, it looks fairly good. They've used it multiple times. They even did a quote-unquote G1 version, which I think was good enough as a stand-in, and it came with a mini-con. You know, it's like, it's solid.
Yeah, for me, it was just Unicron was a collection of error. He didn't look right. He didn't have the right design. No. He didn't have the right gimmicks. his accessories weren't good enough for a toy that size. The transformation, like I didn't do the transformation, thank Christ, but it looks hellish.
I bet.
And like, not only is it like awkward as fuck, like I can imagine you just sitting there going like, am I going to break this? Am I going to break this? Am I going to break this? Am I going to break this?
Well, again, Thu did not look like he was having a good time doing it, and he said he was sweating after an hour doing it. It's like, oh no, I'm good. No, thank you.
I think if maybe like as just a display piece, it works a lot better.
Even then, it's like I think you can get better.
I think you can get better, but like whenever I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm really glad I've got it," there frequently people who don't like get it. They're not trying to get it down every so often and do something with it, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Like the planet mode's good for what it is.
Is it?
It's good enough for what it is.
Yeah.
But like, I would never ever like. For me, there was never any justification for the price of it at the time.
No,
and there certainly isn't any like. That would be an ultimate regret purchase for me. I know if I'd ever like Star Saber and Victory Leo, I'd still enjoy.
Yeah,
Source, I'd enjoy. That thing, not a chance in hell would I ever not think that was a regret purchase.
Yeah, I still agree with that. I would still say that Star Saber and Deathsaurus are far more than they should be. They're definitely more expensive than they have any right to be, but they are like toys you can enjoy. While Unicron is just like 500 or 1,000, however much it was, and it's just a thing that, like they said, eats up room for no reason. It's like, oh, okay. Hellcat 86 says, do Cosmos as Astro Megaship from in space. That's not a bad idea, actually.
That's
for
an
Power
idea.
Rangers. Yeah.
And to be honest, you could do that as a repaint because they got the zap.
It'd be nice if they'd probably remold like the head at the very least, right, to get it to look like the shuttle. I could see that.
How would you given how that head transforms? Like, I suppose you could remold the face.
Maybe you make it a headmaster gimmick, so you just make it into its own little shuttle.
Well, he is a headmaster gimmick.
What, the the Cosmos?
Yeah.
Is he?
Well, no, like the way the Astro Megazord works, it is a headmaster.
I thought you meant. No, that's what I meant. I thought you meant the Cosmos model.
Oh, no.
A mold was a headmaster. That's why I was confused. I was like, he's not a headmaster.
No. Yeah, space would be a good one to do.
Probably easier. Like anything that's not animals.
And it's popular. As well. Space is popular. Oh, yeah, space is very, very popular.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think Hasbro would be brave enough to do it. I think they'd go with the easy cash cow, which is it's G1. G1
The only reason Zap they made a Zap one is because of how popular in space is.
Oh, really?
But like there was no way in hell they were going to go like, listen, don't be expecting no Zeos or no turbos or anything. We're not crazy here.
Do Zeos, do the shape transformers. That would be cool. I like the Zeo Megazords. They're not the best, but you know what? I prefer the first lot of Zeo Megazords. I like it when they had the Sphinx and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like them. Well enough. I like the Super Zeo Megazord as a design.
I like it when they're combined together. When they're not combined together, and it's just I'm a star, I'm two lines, I'm a circle. They're a bit weird to look at. But combined together, no, I agreed. Like combined, they're like, oh, that's quite fun. It's got a good look, and it's got the colors nicely arranged and everything. And I like what's his name, Pyramidas? Yeah, Pyramidas. I like Pyramidas. Yeah, he was stupid.
It's like I'm just tall.
And he was just a big pyramid. His tummy was just a giant pyramid. He just stood up. It's like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. My favorite ones were the Die Ranger ones.
Oh yeah, well, that was my first one.
Oh really? Damn.
Because I never got the Dino ones. But like, it was a really fun transformation. It was some cool designs.
The worst thing about it was you had to buy them separately. You had to buy the Dragon Zord or whatever it was called. You
got the Red Dragon, and then you got the Zord Assault Team.
Yeah, and they came on the little tray, the little fly tray, which was shit.
Yeah, oh, that was so bad. And then you had the Tiger Zord, and then you had the Tor.
Yeah, Tor.
Tor. And then Serpentera. But like, it was such a good line.
It was. Die Ranger just had a really good look to it. I'm a little sad they didn't use the suits because I like the Die Ranger suits as well.
I really wish they redid like Serpentera or whatever, Die Ryujin, I think it was.
Oh, that'd be neat. Yeah.
Like, because that thing was so cool, but like it for a Power Rangers toy, ridiculously posable. Like, but I would love to see it done today with like better center of gravity, better mobility, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
you could do loads with it because it was a big figure. Make it Titan scale.
Yep.
Yeah, no, won't happen. XL Hedge says Dragon Sword fused with Constructicons, warrior mode with Devastator bits / drills. What do you think? What Constructicons? So these would be completely new Constructicons. I don't think they'd invest in combining guys. Unfortunately, again, not like monetarily would be worth it.
Yeah,
need to see that.
Like for single, like the Tiger Zord could be done maybe
out of Tigatron.
Oh god, dude.
Bring it back, baby.
What else? Like I'm trying to think like what single Zords are big enough, really? Because it like what single Zords are like have like the clout, for want of a better term.
Yeah, that's the important thing. It's difficult.
Yeah, like, cause like there's loads of individual designs I'd love, but I'm thinking like which ones are like, wow, people would love these. Because if I go through it, like, okay, Dragon Zord, Tiger Zord, the Shogun Megazord was and the Ninja Megazord and the Falcon Zord, they were all like popular toys, but none of them like they're not part of the zeitgeist.
What's the biggest crossover set we've had? It's the T-Rex versus the JP1. Isn't it? I think that's the biggest crossover. In terms of
physically biggest, yeah.
Well, I just mean with the most in it as well, because that's got a leader and a deluxe. So that's the biggest we've seen. Everything else has been
deluxe or Voyager scale,
or 2 deluxes or something. It's never been anything greater than that. So I think at best you could maybe get the Dragon Zord if it wasn't a repaint, let's say, and it was a remold, and something else small. I don't know what that would be.
Like or like maybe do like robots that turn into the Rangers.
Do you want to know a bad idea? Do an Alpha 5 Transformer.
Oh my god. Yeah, but no, that you could do like an Alpha 5, but Cosmos is his headmaster.
No, this would be a bad idea because does anybody really want an Alpha 5? Like, oh yeah,
if you made me like an Alpha 5 with like the disc came off and became a space saucer, I think that was cool.
Okay, we're in the Hasbro factory, Mikey. There are 2 doors. There is the Dragon Sword door. We can make a Dragon Sword, or there is the Alpha 5 door. Which door do you go through? Oh, I'll go for the Alpha 5 door. No one says this. Nobody.
Here's a question: how have they never repainted the Dragon Sword into Mechagodzilla colors?
License? Well, isn't Mechagodzilla just metal?
Yeah, well, silver engraved and stuff like that. But why haven't they ever done that? It's literally Mechagodzilla. It is based off of Mechagodzilla directly.
It's different. 100% different.
They literally said it would. Yeah, we designed this to reference Mechagodzilla.
No, they never said it. It's completely different. It was a unique idea.
Are you sure? Because it shoots finger drills?
100%. Spider-Man was not the first one to make combine giant robots either.
Right.
No. So it's always
let's talk about this. No. Let's talk about the thing that no one's talking about. Where the fuck is my Hasbro release? You've got the fucking license for every part of it. Where's my Leopardon?
Well, that's a Japanese property, so it wouldn't make sense for America to do it.
Really? Because he's in the comics with disturbing regularity these days.
You think people read the comics, Mikey?
Their entire Marvel Legends is based off of like what movie is out and what random comic bullshit we can pull out of our ass. We haven't even got a little 6-inch action figure of him.
I don't think he's been in any of the movies, though, has he?
He's going to be in the next one.
Yeah. So that if it happens, that's when it'll happen. It does. Otherwise,
I'm just saying, like, easy Marvel Legends build a figure.
You'd think so. They keep doing shit Marvel build-a figures.
There's a soul of Chogokin Leopardon, I think.
There's also a Super Mini-Plow one.
Like, the story of Leopardon is so sad. Because, like, for the time, surprisingly good robot design.
Pretty decent.
I mean, considering it is the original Megazord. in all intents and purposes.
It doesn't look
purposes.
super Spider-Man-y, but it looks Spider-Man-y enough.
Yeah, but like, for anyone who doesn't know, Leopardon, it's the robot from the Best Spider-Man show, Japanese Spider-Man. He is the he
Emperor
is the devil.
Destruction or the Emperor of Evil? Is that what it is?
Guardian of Hell.
That's it. Guardian of Hell, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Where sometimes he just pulls out a fucking Tommy gun.
It works, man.
And and because it's Japan, they said like, let's give him a robot. And this is this was an idea that we would say like, okay, copying Power Rangers Super Sentai. No. Sentai copied this.
I didn't.
Yeah, like this came first. This is the first one. This is the granddaddy of tokusatsu giant robot fights. Except some prick came in halfway through production and stole the fucking suit.
Oh, is that what happened?
And like most of the show is badly edited like scenes of like 3 or 4 fight scenes redone. Like basically, the monster's gotten big. Okay, sure looks like Leopardon's moving in the same way he always does.
Ooh.
Like for most of the show, like they got so fucked over because someone came in and stole the fucking prop. Apparently, that's what happened to the original Anguirus suit as well.
Really?
Someone stole it.
How do you steal? Like they're big. They're really big.
Well, I think Anguirus was being shipped over to the Americas for filming of extra scenes for the original version of Gigantix the Fire Lizard.
Okay, that makes sense. It's in transit. That's capable. Are you telling me that Leopold was taken from the set? Because that's what I find hard to figure out.
Someone broke onto the set and went in and literally flaked the fucking thing out.
I mean, not good for them, but also kind of good for them because that couldn't have been easy. That couldn't have been easy. It would have been big. It would have been in quite a few like containers or something, right?
Oh man, it was. I think they were like in big crates. And like, there is no fucking way that suit is still around, by the way, because suits back then were not designed to last.
No, they melt.
To be fair, they get really damaged these days, but like they were not they were designed to last a movie, maybe 2 movies, maybe 1 series.
Yeah, well, these movies are for kids. Who's going to give a shit about them in 20 years? Oh wait, loads of people. They just didn't know. They had no idea, which makes sense. There you go. Mikey, shall we move on to another story of Transformers?
Yes,
we got a little off topic, but that's fine. We got some news from Japan, and it's another Takara Tomy Beast Wars crossover Phyto set. This time it's Dinobot and Tarantulas. This is one of the promotional image. Earlier on in the week, there was this image again, but slightly blurrier, and at that point it was a rumor, because these things have never been established before. I can't actually tell, because I don't own the Dinobot, if there's a huge amount different on the paint job. I'm assuming the dinosaur feet have been painted to look like bones. Apart from that, do you notice anything specifically unique on it?
The pattern's a little better, but they basically just kind of like the thighs look better because it doesn't have the sharp gold cut where like all the inside of the thighs are gold. They've painted that better.
For the robot mode, you mean, or the dinosaur mode? Okay.
The robot mode. For Dino mode, they've painted the hands and the claws a bit more, but they've just improved the paint job. A bit of black on the knees there is new. They haven't really changed the pattern, I think.
Okay, yeah. I think you're right.
I'm not sure. I don't have Dinobot out at the moment. Sure where Dinobot is, actually.
Oh my god.
But he's around somewhere. But yeah, and Tarantulas, it's definitely much more painted. But
what's actually different? I can't tell. I'm stupid.
His colors are a lot sharper and the right tone. I think there's some patterning differences as well. Let me see. Do you know what would be in it? Kingdom Dinobot.
Yeah, that's literally what I've done.
Okay, so Dinobot. Let's look at Dinobot. Yeah, Dinobot's got a lot more paint on him, a lot more detail picked out. His thighs. Let me see. Oh, I was sure there was something on his thighs that was different. Oh, they've added more stripes onto his robot mode.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
So, because so they've added more stripe patterning on his robot mode. They have changed. Okay, so the stripe pattern is different. It is definitely more show accurate, but it's not everywhere. Like the patterns on his dino neck's different and a few other bits. And Tarantulas.
They've changed his knees up a bit. There's more black on his knees than there was previously. It looks like they've shaded his chest. It looks a lot darker, like they're throwing a wash over the top of it. They've colored the back of his head in black, which is more accurate, while the other one was not as noticeably black, it seems. And I don't know if there's much else. Again, looking at the two, it would be good if we had them side by side, obviously, but just kind of going back and forth between the images, it doesn't look like there's a huge change. I mean, if this is mainly for the Japanese audience, so they can get their hands on the figures without importing, assuming the Kingdom didn't or Legacy isn't widely available in Japan, which I assume is probably the case. It's okay. It's not great. It's all right though. Do you have anything to say about it, Mikey?
Not much else.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Then the last story of the week. Just checking. Yep. Last story of the week is this weird, slightly sad. Oh no, here's another thing. Kind
people
of.
People are very excited by this.
I'm not
and
shocked.
I am very happy for them.
Yes,
I do not share it.
No, I'm just like, it's another one.
Okay. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, this is the Takara Tomy Missing Link G1 Convoy or Optimus Prime official teaser, and we have images of the figure as well, though I'm sure they're just rumors. So yeah, we got a silhouette of a G1 toy, the official G1 Optimus Prime toy that has now been added, or now has added articulation to it. It says, now featuring real articulation. Not really sure what the real part of the articulation was, because he did still have articulation before. It was just limited, but that's fine. Official details will be announced on the 9th, so we've already got those. They came out. This may confirm two versions of the figure, which we did get confirmed. There is a cartoon accurate version, in quotations, and a toy accurate version of this figure. We can have a look at it. We can see that Optimus Prime can now lift his legs up towards his chest. Not a full 90 degrees, but more so than he ever had before. Same kind of knees, because I'm pretty sure the original had knees. Seems to have forward toe bend. He didn't have that before. He has a bit more shoulder articulation. His head seems to be on a ball joint. He has opening and closing hands, because that really solves a lot of issues. It seems to be
okay. I'm just so like,
oh my God,
in terms of
price. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'll talk about that in a second. I'm just looking at a picture of the G1 toy now. So G1 toy had very small bit of like backwards leg bend and very small bit of elbow.
Yeah. Well, knee bend. He had a lot of backwards leg bend for the transformation.
Yeah. But this one, like, they've added ankles, they've added like side to side, forward, back. They've added like, again, not 90-degree knees or elbows, but they've added much better knees and elbows. Is the head new? Am I gone mad?
Well, I think one of them will be new. I think that the cartoon accurate one might be different, but it's difficult to say with the images that we have here. I don't think we have anything confirmed.
And like some of the accessories, I think they've come with other Optimuses.
Yeah, he comes with an axe, an ion blaster, which is Matrix slightly different, and the Matrix. I mean, who knows? It might be a brand new Matrix, but they all kind of just mush together again at the end of the day.
Some people were very excited by this.
Okay,
like,
good.
Very, very excited by this, and I kind of get it. I don't.
Do you?
It's one of those things where, like, okay, it's the toy. Like, I like my G1 Optimus. I love my G1 Optimus, but I wish I could do something with it. Oh, cool. Now I can make it do something. There was also a rumored Megatron, but that didn't follow through, and a lot of people said, like, the photos looked a lot more photoshopped.
I mean, it's a gun Megatron. I don't see it happening.
Missing Link is it's Japanese. It's not a Western release toy line, and they will absolutely do guns. They will absolutely do guns.
Yeah.
I think this is a gimmick that I mean, if I already had an Optimus Prime G1 toy, I wouldn't want another one. And just like an articulated G1 toy, well, that's what you've been giving us for the last few years, to be completely blunt.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, that's not super appealing.
But this is a super G1 accurate G1 toy, accurate G1.
My question is, is this like they've taken the G1 mold and they've just like added a few joints to it, or is this we had to redo the mold because this design was never meant to bend? Like, is this a new mold? Which is just taking design aesthetics.
It has to be a new mold, because at the very least the legs have to be completely redone, just because they can like splay apart, and they've got the whole new ankle rockers and stuff like that. The arms, like, maybe they're the same, but it's probably a new mold, I would imagine. I can't imagine, like, it doesn't look like the hands are on pegs. If they are on pegs, it looks a little bit different from how it was for the original toy, where there was a giant hole, whereas front lights are. And if you look at the cab mode in vehicle mode, there aren't any holes in those little, headlights. I don't know exactly what's going on there. But yeah, you know what? I think this is fun. If this was like £60, I'd be like, I'm not going to buy it because I've already got a G1 Optimus Prime. I've got two. I've got the reissued box one for prestige, and I've got mine from back in the day. I wouldn't need a third, and I don't need a posable one. But the problem is, it's a little more than £60. It's a little more. A little bit more. If you want to get the toy version, which comes with the trailer, roller, gun, battle axe, and the Matrix, it will cost you 17,380 yen, which is approximately $121 dues, which is a nightmarish amount of money. And the anime version, or cartoon version, it comes with everything apart from the trailer or any more accessories. So it doesn't have the axe. Oh no, it does have the. It comes with the gun, battle axe, and Matrix. So what's it not come with? Roller, the trailer. All right, but this one comes with a quote unquote cartoon deco, and this one will be 10,780 yen or $75 dues. So that one's more £60 or ish, give or take. This seems a lot to me. Seems like a lot of money, and if it is a new mold, I guess would explain why it's so much. But still. You gonna get one, Mikey?
No, I'm good, thank you.
No? So why do you think there are so many people were happy about it? Because you mentioned that you noticed a lot of people had seen it, or were talking about it, right?
Yeah, I think part of it is like...
Nostalgia?
The nostalgia, novelty. I also think part of it is that one of the... Oh, I wish my old G1 toy could do this.
Yeah.
And now it can. Like, if anyone is like out there in the world and knows, why they think this is really popular. Like, why do you like it? What do you love about it? Like, really, because I can speculate from now until the end of days, but like, it is better for me to learn than to guess.
I think I would have a much better opinion on this if we hadn't been getting so many G1 Optimus Primes, or styled G1 Optimus Primes over the recent years. If this had been like left, imagine like from Transformers Prime, we didn't have a G1 styled Optimus Prime, and then for an anniversary this came out, it would be like, that's kind of nice. It's like, oh, that's neat. It's done back to the actual G1 toy rather than the stylized cartoon versions. But that's obviously not the world that we live in, to be fair, is it? XL Hedge says, but I want a missing link Megatron to go with Convoy. Do you think it'll happen, Mikey? Do you think that...
Like I said, if Japan's doing it, yes. To be blunt, I think it will happen.
I think it depends on the sales of the Prime. If the Prime does well, maybe, Here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to admit something that many people will say, like, whatever. I think G1 Optimus is a very good toy for its era. I think Megatron's a bit of a mess. I think Megatron's got a lot of good accessories, but I think the toy itself is a mess. I think it's interesting design. I don't think it works very well as a toy just because it's kind of messy to play with. But I think the engineering for the time period is quite inventive. And I think it makes a really cool looking gun. A really cool looking gun mode. Especially when you slap on all the accessories. But yeah.
Andy likes violence.
Oh, well, yeah. But, well, no problem here. I would say Megatron's better than Starscream.
I
I think that Starscream mold's pretty ugly. G1
You,
at
you
least.
don't like it?
No, I've never been a big fan of it. Soundwave's the best of the G1 toys, so from Wave 1, just, you know.
Soundwave is like just he's very high quality in comparison.
Yeah. There's a lot too. But yeah, that's all the news, Mikey, unless you got anything else you want to say about a missing link convoy.
Nope.
Right.
I look forward to other people enjoying them.
Yeah, same. I do too. Well, Mikey, what you been up to the past 2 weeks? What you done for fun?
Oh, God. Where do I start? I got flat.
You got flat? What happened?
Yeah. I moved.
Oh, you got a flat. I thought you meant like you were ran over, or you became like Teddy from Persona 4 and you were growing a boy inside of you.
Jesus. But yeah, no, I moved, so I'm now living solo. So
nice. Well, that must be nice.
Been a complete kerfuffle. I'm still not finished actually setting stuff up.
Have you got all the furniture and stuff? Because I'm shocked that you have the internet then, because my mate
the internet was like one of my highest priorities. I got that, and they installed it 5 days after I moved in.
That's good. My mate, who's recently moved into his new place, he's been in like a week or 2 weeks, and he has to wait another 2 weeks for the internet to come in. It's like, oh, all right, that's rough.
So yeah, I still have furniture I need to get. It's been expensive, because it's not cheap to rent in Ireland, and it's not cheap to like rent deposits and then everything else. So like, oh god. So as long as I keep my job over the next year or so, I should be fine.
Yay!
But no, it's a nice little place and got a couple of rooms, so it's nice.
Yeah, it must be nice that you just don't need to worry about people.
Yeah, like good to be out from under like the whole like shared room thing. Yeah. It's just such a faff. But anyway, yeah, I'm out in the country as well, which is nice. Ew. There are sheep looking in my window. Sometimes I look at them back, giving them dirty looks. So I haven't bought anything that wasn't related to this house in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I've been in my free time. I've been building Railgate Gaugar finally. Now I've like my life is settling down a bit, so I can actually have time to do my backlog. I never thought I'd be. I've got Geigar built and lined, and lining wise, he's by far the hardest because the rest of him is black.
Mostly black.
Except for the shoulders. But there are some necessary stickers. There's some absolutely necessary stickers involved. But yeah, like Geigar is really, really fun. Good build. Very, very posable because he's a decent sized guy compared to like a high grade. The Galleon transformation is as inventive as you can get with Galleon. Is how I'll phrase that. If you're not familiar with how Galleon works, people are going to go like, "Wow, think Lyo Convoy." Is all I'll say. But it's I like it. I like it quite a bit. So it's fun. I'm really looking forward to finishing them off. Well, as long as I got time. I very randomly yesterday, haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet, but I got gifted on a whim. So like literally I was around someone's house, they went away and they said, "Oh, can you mind the house for an hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm just going to go sleep on your couch," to be completely honest.
It was PC.
It was PC.
I knew it.
And then they came back and PC's husband threw The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Wild at me.
Oh, nice.
And so he just went like, "Yeah, you can have that." I'm just like, "Why?" Or Tears of the Kingdom. And it's just like, well, "Why?" I'm just like, "No, I'm addicted to it. So now you're going to be."
Did he like tickle you under the chin and say that you're his precious little boy? I would have done that.
No, he literally threw it at me. Like it bounced off my head. So I haven't tried that yet. My issues with Breath of the Wild, I did vocalize them back in the day, but listen,
isn't it just Breath of the Wild but better? Isn't that what people say?
That's what that's what people say. So I suppose like the better thing is kind of important. But yeah, hey, gift and free. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like it, I suppose you could trade it in. I mean, yeah, you probably will at some point, and
Yeah, because Switch games like are ridiculously expensive on trading.
Oh yeah, especially Nintendo exclusive ones as well.
Yeah. So it's just like Switch games do not go down in price.
No,
it's weird.
It's because Nintendo just like, are we going to drop the prices? No, nope, no sales. What are sales?
Sales are for the weak. But can I download like a few games on my console there? No, you need to buy extra storage space.
Yep. Yeah. Lamau.
Yeah. So I'll be also like that. I mean, the Switch is so old now. I got into Switch so late in the game. Like Switch came out in 2017.
And you're like, oh, I'll buy some of the older titles. They'll be cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still 35, 40 for games.
I thanked him by playing Mario Kart with him for an hour because he had Mario. Yes. But he had Mario Kart. So the way it worked was we did like an easy one and then we did 2 hard ones, and the hard ones were like I got my ass kicked, but I slightly less than him.
Okay. So you're not Miko, basically. You're not Miko.
Not quite. I'm not far off.
Oh no.
But because he'd had it and he hadn't had anyone to play it with because PC had no interest in playing it at the time. Although she says
even humor him.
No. What she says is he says it. I haven't wanted to play it. He hasn't asked.
Oh my god!
I don't know who to believe. The chances are they're both lying. But but yeah. So it's fun though. Like it's a fun game. I think it's a little bit too like you can be driving really well and then skill goes out the window because of the weapon gimmicks and the power-ups and stuff like that, and I think that can be a little bit frustrating.
Well, isn't that always the case with Mario Kart games?
Yeah, but I think that's just like you have to be okay with like you can be really really skillful at this game, but you have to accept the fact that you have no control over a lot of stuff in here. Which it's up to you how you feel about that. I don't think I'd buy it. I would play it around the house, but I don't think I'd buy it.
Oh, you need to get Mario Party. Then you can play with people and lose friendships and stuff.
Isn't that what Among Us is for?
Well, that's a little bit old hat at this point. Yeah, you should play Mario Party with PC and PC's dude friend.
Oh God.
Yeah, you could end your friendship then. That'd be great. That'd be a good time.
I spent a lot of money in the last couple of weeks, but not much fun. So yeah, but that was just really kind, so I'm really appreciative.
You should have bought your place for you.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Why didn't he? Bitch.
Because it's very selfish, clearly. Oh, only a game. Where's my house? Where's my rent? What a bastard.
Oh dear. But yeah, I did watch a few things. King Oger from last week. I haven't watched this week's one because I ended up going indoor bouldering today. Which is basically indoor rock climbing. The technical term is bouldering.
I've never heard of that.
Then you are, because there's a big sign outside the front saying indoor bouldering.
Is it just like an Irish thing? Like it's not actually called bouldering anywhere outside of Ireland?
Yeah, because Ireland's so well known for its like rock climbing boulder culture.
Well, I'm glad you admitted it, Mikey.
But yeah, no, it was fun. Was not expecting to. We were there for about 3 or 4 hours, so we did the induction, and then we're just like, away you go.
Where you go? Don't kill yourself.
That was it. Just like. You had 20 minutes of instructions. Don't die. Bye.
Yeah, no, that was the same for us. It's like, obviously, we were told when I did it, don't jump from the top. I was like, well, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I fell from the top today. I didn't jump from the top. I fell from the top.
Why did you fall? No.
I wasn't on purpose. But yeah, I a few difficulty levels, so I didn't just stick to the easy stuff. But like, wow, I was watching some people doing the hard stuff, and like, how does physics work like this? Yeah. Are ye Spider-Mans? Because you're upside down, and that does not have any grips in it. It's a triangle.
Yeah, you gotta get that grip strength. It's rough.
Oh my god. Like, I think, was it shameful to be outdone by a 12-year-old?
Well, it depends. How long has the 12-year-old been doing it?
No, but they were very excited by it.
Oh,
They were having fun, which I suppose is important.
It depends if you care about 12-year-olds. Respect them.
I'm going back in a few weeks, so yeah.
Ooh, la-di-da.
Yeah, I am going to be aching tomorrow. But hey, I fell asleep. Basically, threw off my whole day because we ended up doing like 3 times as much as we'd planned.
Nice.
So I was just like, right, I'm going for a nap. I got back at 4. Basically, got there at 10, stayed there for 4 hours, went for dinner, and then went for a nap. So, and then woke up and went, shit, people are messaging me. Shit, girlfriend thinks I'm dead. Shit, I've got a podcast to do. Shit. So yeah, been working on my presentation for TF Nation. I should have that finished tonight. So the last bits.
Yeah, you've got a week.
Ready to go.
Well, less than a week now at this point. What day are you going down to TF Nation? What day are you going down? When can people see Mikey?
I'm going to be there on Thursday because I need to be there for Friday afternoon. So Thursday seemed to be the best time. I'm heading away Sunday. So.
Oh, you're not gonna stay the full Sunday and go on the Monday?
No, I'm heading away Sunday afternoon. So, or late. Basically, show will end and then we'll head away. And then I'll be in England for another week or so.
You can go see Mikey then at TF Nation. Go and see his panel where he talks about dinosaurs.
Bring me free things.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be shameless here. Bring me free things.
Give Mikey food.
Or money, which is equivalent to food.
Yeah. Just remember the pain of like getting food from that area. It can be a bit faffy.
And the food poisoning. Don't forget the food poisoning from that one restaurant.
Just don't go there. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, I know people will say that never happened again, but it happened once.
You haven't been there since they opened the big plaza over the lake, have you? Where they've got a load of restaurants. There's options.
There's a lot of things to see now.
More options. But
this will be my first time in like 5 years.
Wow.
So I'm curious to see how the vibe is.
Hateful.
Last time I saw Nick Roche, he said it's basically exactly the fucking same. So
I think that depends on the people you go with, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like that's the thing.
Nick's there as a guest, so Nick's always surrounded by human flesh. So
yeah, like the crowd's going to be different because it's been 5 years. Some people are still going, some people aren't. For different reasons. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, did I mention I've been watching Ultraman Blazer?
I want to say yes, but I don't know whether you just told me that on Twitter or you said that 2 weeks ago.
So I might be reiterating stuff, but I wouldn't have been 2 weeks ago because I only started watching it like a week and a half ago. Right, 2 weeks ago. If I'm remembering wrong, I'm remembering wrong. So I decided to check that out because it's the new type Ultraman. They're not doing form changes, apparently, at least not at this stage. They're doing a lot of new suit designs, blah, blah. Way it broke down was I like the human stuff. There's not much plot so far, and by which I mean, episodes are mostly just, quirky personalities bouncing off each other, then a monster shows up.
Is it just like an early Sentai Kamen Rider thing? Kind of getting used to it, or is it slower than that?
No, it's different. It's different. It's because there's no driving plot at all.
Oh,
there's just a small military group that's informal. They chat away. One of them's secretly an Ultraman. They basically have quirky character moments where I do this. This is fun. We say nice things, blah blah, and then a monster shows up, and then we have stuff like that.
So it's monster of the week, effectively. In
but it's very difficult to describe how the human stuff plays out. Weird. The human stuff is the best stuff in it.
Oh.
The actors are good, the quirky. They're not breaking the mold with their performances, but the dialogue is fairly sharp, and it's officially subbed. So I think that's a nice thing as well. And I had to listen to the dub. Surprisingly good. There's a good range of actors. And voice direction sounds good.
Sorry, I don't know why. It just kind of clicked into my head. You said it's dubbed?
Officially dubbed. Huh. Would you like to know some of the dub cast?
No.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised.
Well, is it gruff?
Well, if I remember right, Johnny Young Bosch is the main character.
Oh, okay, that's fun. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I'm happy he's got a job.
Yeah, but it's definitely this is actual high tier anime voice actor types, not hey, we got Gary down the road.
Yeah, you got someone from the street and said, "You want to do a voice role? Come here, I'll give you a tenner."
Yeah, and because when Zed had like Sean Schemmel and a few other ones.
Sean Schemmel.
So Sean Schemmel. The guy, I prefer what's his name does Vegeta. I don't love his Vegeta, but I would prefer to spend time with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, the monster stuff is where it all falls down. Because
is it still Ultraman-y, would you say?
It is the most Ultraman-y.
Oh no!
Very, like, Blazer doesn't have a personality, so there's no talking. Ooh. There's no like annoying stock footage stuff because oh my god, I hate this. Like on what I've seen of Ultraman, the new generation stuff, the stock footage is inexcusable.
Ooh, okay.
It is so long. But because he doesn't like have a personality, they do the whole Ultraman but like he does it constantly, and he goes like oh, like that's the noise he makes over and over and over and over and over. And then it has like the Ultraman fighting kaiju suit thing where just like it's moving way too fast. You've got the suit, the fights between the kaiju and the Ultras never work for me because like they're two different fighting styles visually. Like you feel like the thing that make them work in, the stuff that people really like these days is the really dynamic camera angles and experimental stuff, which this show doesn't do.
Is it still like normal speed? Like
normal speed.
Oh no! Stop it! There's no weight then.
Yeah, and like I said, no crazy camera angles, no bottom down shot. Like it looks like a dude on a soundstage fighting a dude in a suit. Now, some of the new suit designs, they're still very ultra, but they are new, which means there's a bit more going on, which I appreciate. And there's some fun designs. It's just like, the best fights in the show involve Urk-Garen, who's the Godzilla mech. Okay. They've got a mech that's a Mecha Godzilla type thing, and it's like, it's because it moves like a kaiju. So the fight with a kaiju when it's fighting kaiju, like they're moving the same way, they're reacting the same way, they're moving at the same speed, so it looks more like it reacting. Because when an Ultra's fighting, it's like, I can do a backflip, I can do a backflip, I can do a flying kick, I can do all the things that a dude wearing a spandex suit can do. Bam, headbutt, maybe a tail swipe, lasers, lots of lasers. It's like, because there's a reason Sentai tries to, these days, really does try to avoid those more humanoid proportion mecha because the way they move looks wrong. But it's like, I would say like the human stuff is enjoyable, but I don't know if I'll keep it up. Yeah. And the last thing this probably should have led with this is I watched the finale of Transformers Earthspark, which was episodes 19 to 25, 26, 25.
You seem fairly positive on Twitter about it.
So a plot, lots and lots of plot. It is very plot driven. It starts off with some standalone, but there's a lot more plot based episodes. To the point where I feel like you could have peppered these a bit more throughout.
Right.
It opens with a Grimlock episode. So it's Grimlock Jawbreaker gets his alt mode. Jawbreaker is very childish in it to a little bit of an annoying point. But it's basically kind of about how Grimlock has a bit of PTSD. Keith David, would you believe, does a fantastic voice job.
Do you think it works for Grimlock? Because I saw some people online say they felt weird hearing Keith David's voice for Grimlock.
No, it works for this Grimlock. It
works for you, okay.
Like Cyberverse, like it's not going to work if in your head he's saying me Grimlock, because he don't say me Grimlock.
Okay.
He's an approachable, fairly likable, kind of angry Grimlock. Which is fine. And he's got a bit of a mentor thing going on. But yeah, they do a bit of PTSD stuff with him because of what happened in the earlier season. Then let me just check the episode order because I think the next one Starscream, the one that set the internet aflame. That's either episode 20 or 21. There is definitely an episode. Which one's that?
It is ship
Okay, the next
flame because
one-
they ship Megatron and Starscream. Is that the
Oh
idea?
God, no, no, opposite.
The opposite of shipping them.
So basically, next one is about Robbie the human boy and his magic sleep thing.
Robbie the human boy.
Robbie the human boy. And like that's one of the weaker episodes, but it's a stronger one for these human characters because he has something to do in it. Now it's very focused around him getting a superpower.
Okay.
And doing like, oh, I've got superpower things, but it does suddenly give the humans something to do in it, like the human kids. Because the human kids, one of my big complaints about the show is that because the Terrans are children, all the children plots go to them. Which means that the human kids are basically just kind of exposition or there to give advice to the other ones. They don't add it much to the show because like all the stuff you'd normally do with them is being done with the robots.
You know what they add? Saving a baby cow or saving a baby bear.
There is a baby. Well, like it's there is a bad episode in this that I think is because it's mostly like it's Mo seeing, oh, what if I didn't get the glove? Which is like, here's all these things that happened in the show, but with a slight change. It's not a clip show, but it does feel like a clip show. Because like it's all original material, but like, what if I didn't have a psychic connection to something? What if this? And it was way too long, dragged out. Ends with her getting a superpower.
Does it come across as what's the point in this episode?
It came across as I get the point in this episode, but you needed a lot more, and it needed to be done differently. So that's episode 22, I think. 21 is the Starscream episode. It is basically about how Starscream was horribly abused by Megatron, and like maybe you should pay attention to abuse victims. This is the Starscream story that a lot of people on Twitter have wanted told for a very long time. Steve Blum, basically a Starscream for this show, it means he's basically more sympathetic.
Is it weird that I don't think, like, well, this Megatron would care, but, like, Megatron in general wouldn't care about abusing Starscream because, you know, he's happy to kill people.
Well, it's not really about Megatron caring, because Megatron kind of wants to put him in the ground at first.
Okay.
It's kind of like how...
Is it Starscream dealing with being hurt?
Starscream, it's a hashtag episode, so you have to deal with that. But it's like hashtag, because she had a bit of mindfuckery in the previous thing. By basically saying, like, I believe that he hurt you and it wasn't fair, and defending Starscream from Megatron. Which, also, the Dweller in the Depths is in it, and it is done on a lot more horror monstery vibe.
Okay.
There is a fun moment where Megatron like is grabbed by the thing. He just shoves a fusion cannon down its gob and fires.
It works,
but yeah, and like it does end on like a note of like Megatron says like, Starscream, you escape, but I'll give you somewhere safe to hide if you want it. And him saying like, I do not want to be anywhere near you, and flying off, and then being kind of nice to hashtag. And it's just like, because Decepticons in this show are not necessarily bad people, apart from like Swindle and a couple of other ones, like adding the element to Starscream that maybe Megatron wasn't exactly the easiest person to work for. Not a bad one. Again, like, it was hilarious to me that some people going like, oh, now I hate Megatron. And just like, dude was in charge of a war where he likely had a lot of people killed.
Yeah,
this is just like saying like, yeah, he did bad, twisted shit. The whole point is that he's it's like kind of like IDW. Yes, Mord meets the eye Megatron did a lot of bad shit, most of which we fucking saw.
I think some people forget that about Megatron, and especially IDW Megatron. I think they forget that conveniently and go, oh, he's just silly Megatron now.
What's engaging about him is that he is trying to move past that. That's why I like Autobot Megatron. That's why I like this Megatron. It's not just because like this guy is a lot more approachable and friendly, but he's also like, yeah, I did bad shit, and that's why I changed sides. I didn't change sides just because I lost faith in the cause, because he didn't. But it's like, oh, I was doing the wrong thing. Let's see. And then it moves into sort of the big finale. There's basically a 4-episode finale to this.
Okay.
Which is basically wraps up Mandroid. Mandroid will very likely not be appearing in the show again.
Oh, he's so good.
Kind of.
So good.
This went. How do I put this? This went very dark.
Okay.
Very dark. like way darker than you think. That like this has the most graphic human death in a Transformer thing outside of, actually in some ways a little bit more graphic than Optimus killing Frasier.
That wasn't that graphic though. That was just funny.
Well, like this was like
and also
a character
Prime's
who's
totally
like
a hero, quote unquote.
Yeah, but this is like a character whose bone, like they're doing that thing where they're twisting and their bones are kind of making snapping noises, and then they literally die screaming.
Okay.
Which kind of caught me off guard. There's some very good fight scenes in this one. The humans, basically for the last thing, all the human characters, like I like the mother a lot, and I don't mind the dad. But they're basically, everyone is sidelined bar the Terrans, which I actually think wasn't a bad idea because it gave them a chance to show character development. It's mostly about Twitch. So yeah, it does. I didn't like the ending for it because then it suddenly switched over to the kids using the power of friendship at the very, very end. After the Terrans do all the work, the kids have to get a moment, and I was just like, they don't need a moment. It's got some Sharkticons in this, some nice Sharkticon designs. Blitzwave and Razorfin, they're called. And yeah, it ties into a lot of stuff. Starscream's back. A lot of Decepticons come back in this one as well. And yeah, Mandroid is a fish. Mandroid's new design is kind of insane and not what you expected it to be.
Okay.
It's actually a really good design. I really do like it. It is a horror movie monster design, like a pretty decent one. I think it's a good ending. I don't think it's like changed my rating on the show. I think the show goes into above average, sometimes dips below, sometimes hits on some very interesting ideas, but doesn't always follow through, has some problems with some characters I don't like. Overall has a lot of good ideas. And has some very good fight scene choreography. It's how they're executed in the long term, it's whatever. I think they do already have a season 2 guaranteed.
More than
think
likely.
This release,
that's usually how shows work.
Yeah, but I do think it was a worthwhile show overall. I would like better toys of some of these designs because I think the designs are overall great. Mm-hmm. There's some graphical issues that were really noticeable this time because like Optimus especially had a lot of clipping.
Oh, okay.
More so than he had in earlier stuff.
Oh.
But like Optimus and Megatron, I think are just big successes in terms of character writing. Writing Optimus as a person, I really hope this show convinced someone that was important. The bringing in some fresh characters and main characters, I think, is a good idea. I didn't like all of them, but I thought it was a good idea. Adding in that bit more of a moral ambiguity to the Decepticons, not making them all just like lunatic monsters, I think that was a good idea. Voice cast is overall very good. Yeah, it's just got a lot of niggling issues for me. Like, when I see people saying like, "Oh, it is the best show. It beats the ass out of Prime and Animated and all that," I'm just like, I think you can like it more because we can all like anything more. But I think as a product, it does not hit the levels of execution those do. I think when it shines really well. I wish there was more action in this because the action is very well coordinated. I wish some of these characters got more time. I wish some of these characters got less time. And I wish there was a much better toy line for it because I really do want some version of this Megatron, but like seeing that Megatron in person, it just doesn't look very good.
You mean the deluxe,
Twitch,
right?
Yeah, Twitch looks a lot better, but
I hear
I don't
the quality
really...
control on it's not great on the Twitch. I mean,
like, yeah, I heard that as well. But like she's a good design. I'd like her, but I don't care enough about the character. Megatron I would really like, but it's not that they're out of scale with each other. It's that Megatron's head is like so tiny compared to Bumblebee's on the toy. Like I would like. This is kind of playing into something the whole nostalgia thing of the thing is that's getting money at the moment for toys is Generations and Studio Series, which is basically Generations and movie stuff. The TV shows are getting lower budget and they're getting a different design team. They're not getting the big design team.
No.
And I considering that your movies are not doing well in the cinema, Rise of the Beast was confirmed to be the lowest earning Transformers movie of all time in the cinema. Whether it will make money on the secondary market and how the toy sales will go and everything else, whatever. But financially, it has underperformed because it cost a lot more than Bumblebee did. So I don't think it's going to come out making money the way Bumblebee made money. I think if it makes money, it will be in the secondary market. But your TV shows are going to be your consistent thing. And since 2015, you've had a secondary team working on them and a lower budget. And not just the movement towards gimmick toys for like Warrior Class or all the other subclasses or stuff like that. That is like kid stuff. Like they were always there. We all had activators. We all loved activators. But the materials themselves are not comparable. The engineering themselves are not comparable. Like a deluxe from Cyberverse is not comparable to a deluxe from Generations. And I think in that case, why aren't you just doing Warriors and just get Warriors done of everyone? You know? Yeah, like when you have characters like Thrash has a Warrior toy, but he doesn't have a deluxe toy. Like Hashtag has no toy. Jawbreaker only has a gimmick toy. Nightshade's got a deluxe toy, but it has hey, it was a design that was never meant to work quite so well in toy form kind of vibe. And there's tons of characters in here who have no toy represents. Like Soundwave is a great design and no deluxe. No, not even a Warrior. Like for me, it's kind of like there's a lot of good here, but if I was into this the way I'm into Cyberverse, because I still prefer Cyberverse as a show, I was really frustrated with Cyberverse because there was a lot of designs I wanted toys of, and either you didn't have a figure of the character, or the figure was based off of concept art, or it was not. It was a gimmick toy, which was really, really compromised, and so on and so forth. And if I was more into Earthspark, I would have the exact same feeling again. And it just I wish that the TV lines were getting the love, and I hope to Christ that they won't, because they're fool. That this is just how the batches are working out. That they can move beyond this bloody release schedule, because I had no fucking idea what was being referenced in a lot of this stuff. I had to read the wiki after. I watched the first one, and they were talking about Cybertron. Oh, I'll go to Cybertron and if it's even real. I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? And it's like, oh, Megatron says in an early episode that Cybertron might have been destroyed. We don't know. Oh, okay. And I had to go back and check that. And you can't release a show like that and expect me to keep track of it. Either release it all at once or release it weekly. If they'd done it weekly, it would have come out around the same time. And we know, at least for some of these shows they release in batches, they're already made by the time that you get, the whole show is sometimes done by the time you get that first batch.
Yeah, but streaming, Mikey. Streaming.
Yeah, streaming likes either big blitzes or, to be honest, these days it likes weeks to week. This is actually becoming an outdated model.
Yeah, but think how long it takes for some companies to learn. It takes a long time for some companies to learn.
So I would say what I would like to see is either a batch release or a weekly release going forward. I would love to see better quality toys. And
I don't think it's going to happen. I think the target market has shifted over to the adult collector.
It's one of those things when people say that they're frustrated that the Earthspark Starscream is a repainted Cyberverse Starscream toy. I am absolutely there with you, because if you want this Starscream, that is a different design, buddy. Completely. With a different head shape.
I said last week when I talked about it, at the very least, they could have just made a new head for it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
It still would have been wrong, but the very least they could have done is made a new head. Very least.
Shockwave, perfect example.
Yeah.
They look nothing alike.
No. He's not even the right color. He's a lighter purple than he is in the show, because they realized if it was the same color, then it would just be the same toy. Here's a question, because you've been talking about the show. Would I like this part of the season? Because you would like it more. You would have more moments where you are turned off as well. There would be that episode that I said is a bad episode is one that could derail your enjoyment of the show. Okay, you would enjoy the finale a lot more than you enjoyed a lot of the other show. Because I asked because you've been a lot more positive on the show than I have, and I just don't really like it at all. I think it's pretty meh. Because I would not focusing on the right stuff 90% of the time.
Yeah, I would definitely say like Megatron and Optimus are in it a lot less in this part of it, which is really noticeable because of the fucking release schedule. If they had released it normally, you wouldn't notice it as much. So be aware of that, because I know those are two of the elements you did like.
Yeah, the only thing decent. Yeah.
So I would say like have a look at the new Mandroid design. I think you'll like that.
I mean, I'm gonna watch the episodes anyway for the show and whatnot, but
how it works. I like how it works in show and stuff like that. I think they could have built Ghost up a bit better as well. I'll say that much without because they do an okay job, but there's a lot more they could have done. But yeah, like thing is, don't know what they're going to do for season 2 because they've actually wrapped up all their plot points.
Do you think it's going to get 3 seasons? Most shows tend to get 3
it'll
seasons.
Definitely get. I would be shocked if it didn't get 2.
No, 100%.
I just looked it up. Season 2 already greenlit.
Oh well, yeah. No, like I said, 90% animation shows usually get 2 seasons minimum most of the time.
I think it could get 3, but I just like, are they going to bring in new threats? Is it going to be about, okay, now another generation of Terrans are coming in?
That'd be terrible.
Which I think would be a mistake, because then you're just going to overload the show with Terrans, and then you're just going to have, you're probably going to be repeating a lot of plot points. I would up the Decepticon presence, like add more regular Decepticon characters. Like if you're going to do this thing where most of the Decepticons are not monsters, and like are people. Like if Breakdown's a person who's a buddy of Bumblebee and they were just on opposite sides, then make Breakdown a major secondary character and build him up a bit.
Yeah, but what do you have is your plot point for season 2? What's going to be your threat, your antagonist? What's that going to be? Like,
because you basically killed both your antagonists in this show. The show ends killing both the major antagonists. Like I was expecting Ghost, like the main Ghost lady, to continue on.
Oh well.
But spoilers. It's been a few weeks, so I don't feel too bad about this. Spoilers. She ain't going to continue on, buddy.
Oh my god.
She ain't continuing on one single bit. Cause she exploded.
Oh my god. Well, that'll usually make sure you don't survive things. Usually.
And she wasn't deep. I would like more with the mother. I would like more with the mother and Megatron. I would like more like context of how the war affected these characters. I think like if you're gonna do a story about like PTSD, abuse in relationships, whether it's romantic or not romantic, gender identity, something like that. Like the Terrans are a good angle for that. Like Nightshade was a good angle for that, but also I think the Autobots and Decepticons are a good angle for that because they're able to show it in a bit of a deeper quality than they could. Like Jawbreaker's like search identity thing worked, but it also worked a little better because he was interacting with Megatron and Elita 1. If it would just been him with like the younger characters, it wouldn't have worked as well. Like having that scene with Megatron talking about like giving up my identity to be the adult mode, or Elita 1 talking to him, or Grimlock, like those work. Like use those tools a bit more. Like also Swindle now feels completely out of place because he's just a bad guy. and like he's just a dick. And like everyone else, even like him and Soundwave now feel really weird in this show because there was a deleted scene showing that the whole Soundwave plot got kind of cut off at the knees.
Okay.
But which is another thing. There's definitely a fair few orphan plot lines in this show. But like now you've got like Starscream's not evil, Megatron's not evil, Tarantulas isn't evil. Even Shockwave adds a bit more layers to him by the end of this. Like Shockwave shows up again. Skywarp and Nova Storm get a bit more like the sort of like evil Decepticon stuff from the first run of episodes. That's largely like sideline, but Swindle's just always a prick. Which cool, I don't mind it, but like you need, I would say, bring in a few more people like that, just a reminder, like not even in this war was like doing it for the right reasons. Some people were just bad people. And then I would also bring in some like bad Autobots. Like if you're saying that factions are no longer the divide between good and evil, like it's a bit more complicated than that. Have some Autobots in here who are not decent people.
Yeah.
Like bring in Outback. Just have him be horrible, racist, bad cop Outback. Who's just like the worst person.
Need something.
Stuff like or do a bit more with that. But I think there's angles. I just don't know. I think they'd have to bring in a whole new antagonist because, like I said, they kind of wrapped up every plot they had for that. Like, this felt like a one and done series. And I feel like it was, which, not a bad idea, in all honesty. Instead of ending it on, like, here's a cliffhanger, just like, cool, we don't know what we're going to get. We're going to just write a self-contained series. Not a bad idea to do that. But it also means, like, what do they do for their season 2?
Guess we'll find out one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you've been up to then?
Yep, that's me.
Somehow
I made that last.
I got some messages from Axel Hedge. Says Dweller returns! ! Mandroid actually won, and they implied he genocided the Quintessons. That's okay.
There is hinted that he might have, but it's kind of like, freed the Sharkticons from their oppressors is the line. So we never hear the word Quintesson, so very easily they could be brought in, but so basically Mandroid definitely killed a lot of people on some planet out there in space.
Parts of Ghost felt like somewhat Prime wanted Mech to be.
Yes, there's definitely elements of that. I would agree with that on some levels. Mech, I love Prime, love Mech. Mech petered out, partly because they had too much space and dragged it out a bit too much.
Yeah.
Ghost wrapped up quicker, but Ghost also didn't really have an identity for the first half of the show. Ghost was just a thing. In fact, I would say almost the first 2/3. So that's it. Ghost packed most of its actual Ghost stuff in the back end, which means that a lot of stuff in Ghost that's underdeveloped.
Watch season 2. The primary antagonist will be a conquered/living Cybertron. Sorry, invading Cybertron.
Would be interesting.
All right, and no, bring in Farmer or Getaway if we're talking evil Autobots.
Farmer would be kind of cool. Getaway,
I don't think they'd have the balls to do any of them. They'd have to severely change them for TV.
Well, that's the thing. Getaway's 2 plot points are he's evil Trump, and that's not me making a joke. He literally quotes Trump many times, at least 3 times.
He was very subtle about his writing.
Or he is the incredibly abusive person in a relationship. Like, he is the incredibly manipulative person in the relationship. Those are his 2 settings. And certainly the second one is they can touch on it, but it is way more mature than this show could handle.
Yeah, it's
so
a
they'd have
show,
to change a lot of stuff.
It's clearly not high. Well, realistically, it shouldn't be like a high teen audience or anything like that. It should be like your 5 to 10-year-olds kind of idea. So you're not going to do that. It's just not happening. Just not.
But yeah, I'm trying to who would be I don't know if you could do that's the thing. You could do Getaway, you could do Farmer, you could do Scorponok, you could do the Fallen, you could do all these characters. It's just like, how do you adjust them for the show?
Yeah, because they got to be appropriate.
Yeah. Maybe not do Sandstorm going on a murder rampage like that one time in the comics where he starts executing people he thought were mean in the war.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that was one of the side stories. Sandstorm starts executing people in post-war Cybertron because he said, you're terrible. But he does it he goes around killing Autobots and Decepticons, anyone who did something that he considers really bad. Would you believe that the Dinobots were really high on his list?
Was this a new IDW, or was this
No, this was, do you remember that motion comic test they did, God, it would have been 2014?
I actually don't. No, I don't remember the motion comics. There was
this brief era where motion comics were a thing. And they did a motion comic of it, and it's John Barber Olivio one.
Okay.
And it's one of those ones. It led into it retroactively became the first part of the Dinobot stories, the 3 Dinobot stories John and Olivio did.
Oh, okay.
So it was the weakest one, but it had some good moments in it. But yeah, Sandstorm is literally just murdering people because he thinks they were cruel in the war, and you're just would you believe the Dinobots are really far up his murder list?
I mean, yeah. Makes sense. I imagine he didn't do too well against them.
Yeah, he basically Optimus sets him up, uses them as bait to draw him out, and they don't take it too kindly.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Anything else? Is that all you've been up to, young Mikey?
That's me.
All right, I haven't really done too much. The only thing I've really been doing is playing Persona 5 Strikers on stream. I was playing it off stream, but I went, no, I'm enjoying this. I want more Persona 5, so I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just play it on stream instead. How about that? So I've been doing that. It's fun. It obviously plays very differently because it's not turn-based. It's more Dynasty Warriors-ish, but there's a bit more strategy to it. It's more fun than a usual one because you've got the whole weaknesses and you can still summon personas and stuff like that and make new personas. It's got a lot of the elements of the normal Persona 5 game, just in an action game setting, which I'm finding quite fun. Started a big old road trip around Japan at the moment, which is quite fun in said game, not actually real life, unfortunately. But yeah, if you like Persona 5, Strikers, might be on the table, Mikey.
I do like Persona 5. I will. I might get Royal soon.
You should get Royal.
Go with that.
Royal's a lot better.
But yeah, I've got Strikers from a PS Plus thing from a while back. So I've never played. I haven't played it, but just because I'll wait until some other time. But I know it's I know it was got fairly well reviewed. I don't know if it was super well reviewed or anything like that, but I know it was fairly well reviewed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to change your opinion on stuff, but the writing is there. If you like the writing from Persona 5, it's still there. All the characters are voiced by the same people, so that's good. Igor's not in the game. I think there's an obvious reason why he's not in the game, but there's not an in-game explanation for why he's not there. Japanese voice actor's dead, so they probably just went, he's not going to be in the game. Maybe they'll explain it, maybe they won't. I don't know. And apart from that, I've been watching or rewatching Persona 4, the animation, because I was like, you know what? I haven't watched that in a long, long time. Do
you hate it?
No, it's still good, Mikey. It's still real fun. Have you seen the trailers for Persona 3 Reloaded?
Yeah. They look like they're very much taking a lot of design elements from 5.
Which I'm more than happy with. As long they can change a few story points here and there if they want. They can tweak it, but as long as they don't massively change it, I'll be happy. Did you play 3?
Yes. Oh, many moons ago now, but yes.
So you remember the saddest confidant Link, the pink alligator man?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun to replay and be sad over again. It's a very good confidant Link, though. Really like it a lot, but yeah, hopefully they can change a few bits, like who's the magician confidant, Kawa or something like that. He was a right cock. I didn't like spending time with him. He was a dick. But yeah, I'm looking forward. That's next year, and I think Armored Core is on the 22nd of this month, so it's really close, and super close. Apart from that, that's it. Just working, living boring life, and etc. Nothing too exciting. Oh, Mikey, you've got to tell me, when are you going to watch Strange New Worlds? Because I want to hear you suffer. You might enjoy it. I don't know. It looks like cancer to me.
I won't have time for weeks. Is what I'm going to say. I won't have remind me in a few weeks.
Oh, I will, because I want you to tell me what you think of the musical episode.
All I've seen from that is some people say not as satisfying as I'd have liked. Or there was something they missed from it, so I don't know.
And I'm just it's the complete antithesis of what Star Trek should be, if you ask me. Just shouldn't be done at all. Star Trek.
We have crossed a moral line, and Andy is done.
Well, to be fair, I think we crossed that line in what was the Star Trek Beyond, where they blew up a hive fleet with music. That was fucking atrocious as well. That was a shit film.
That would have. I haven't seen Star Trek Beyond. I'm trying to remember where. I haven't seen Star Trek Beyond. I know it's the one that people like.
It's bad.
Of those ones.
It's bad. It's silly.
Silly, I don't mind as long as it's good silly.
No, I'm good. I like good. This is not Picard season 3. We've gone back to standard kind of what you would expect Star Trek to be in this era, which is not Star Trek in my eyes at all. So yeah, I want you to tell me what you think of Strange New. You might love it. I don't know. I might.
Who knows? Maybe I'll just come in and just Punch Nick. Punch Nick. I was like, why did I think about punching Nick Roach?
Why Nick Roach? Punch Nick Roach.
Punch Andy. But
Oh
why
my
am I? Oh my god. My
Well,
man.
to be fair, you're more likely to see Nick Roach sooner than me. Well, you're definitely going to see Nick Roach sooner than me.
Yeah.
You've seen him next week.
He's bigger than me, though. I
I'm
mean, he's
bigger
not a
than you.
huge man.
Yeah.
You're taller than me. You're not bigger than me. So, oh god, that's very Freudian. Sitting here, like, subconsciously thinking about decking Nick Roach in the face.
Mr. White sends a message. Please do not punch guests.
You're not the boss of me.
I mean, he is a volunteer, so yeah, he will be.
Not the boss of me. Like, I'm gonna put down if I like make a break for a desk in like first thing in the morning before lines come up. I bet I can punch at least 2.
Oh my god. There you have it, Mr. White. You know what to do. Get rid of Mikey. If there are any questions in chat, slide them over. Otherwise, Mikey, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet on Twitter as Irish Paleo. You can contact us on the Moonbase 2 on Twitter, and you can also contact us on the moonbase2@gmail.com and on Facebook, Libsyn, Patreon, and all those other good places. Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube as Decayed Andy, the wrong corpse of human being. I'm on Twitter as Decayed Andy as well. You can come over to the patreon.com/moonbase2, and if you do $2 each month, you can help support the show. And Mikey's got some shows in the bag, which he'll get round to, when he's not at conventions, and when he's not busy. He's got lots of things to do. What else? ccbunker.weebly.com. You can go that way, get the show from there. And YouTube. Is Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. We're over on there. We got a message from XL Hedge says, I got my Toxitron passed on G2 Tiger Stripe Grimlock so I can get a Snarl eventually. Mr. White says, just to say, Mikey, if he needs anything next week, give me a shout, as in Mr. White, not me. I won't help
Will
you.
Will do. At the very least, I will probably have you buy me a Coke.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, no. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping this panel goes well. It's been fun building it. Hopefully people will learn something. And then now I'm really intimidated because Steve White contacted me and said, like, I saw you doing that panel. What time is it going to be on? I'll try and drop in. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Notable paleo artist Stephen White, who's going to be there because he also worked in Transformers, but highly respected Stephen White, who did me an amazing commission that's up on Twitter, on his Twitter page. He did Fang and Rexy. And I was just like, oh no, they're amazing. It looks brilliant.
I mean, is your information correct?
As far as I know.
Well, then you're fine. Nothing to worry about. Is your fear like he's going to sit in the front row and go, that's wrong?
To be fair, my fear is that I'm going to fall. Like, this is a lot of overview stuff. It's kind of like compare and contrast, but it's like, it's hard to do because this is the first time I'm doing something like this. Like, I think it's going to be kind of like, cool, this was a good baseline. What can you do better? But like, it's also like, oh no, the thing I know is that he hangs out with certain nerds in the paleo community that I know very well who are like stupid experts because they're like the world's leading whatever, but they're also dickheads, so that's fine. Like Darren Naish. I love you, Darren. You are a dickhead. Don't think he listens to this show, but it is true. So it's just, but it's like, it is kind of like meeting a superstar. Like, it is like, basically, like, it was like, if I met someone in Transformers these days, I wouldn't get like, oh, cool, oh my god. But that first time in that first convention where like someone just brings Greg Berger over to say hi to me, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
this is kind of like, hello, Steve White. Notable paleo artist Stephen White. Also, have you seen what he's been doing? Because he's been sharing it. Have you seen what he's been doing for the Beast Wars Neo stuff?
I think so. Maybe I've been looking too hard into it.
He's been doing so like he's done like multiple commissions of the Beast Wars Neo Predacons, except it's like really well done in his style, but like based off the toys. So instead of trying to make them look like the cartoon models, they're toy models, but they look really fucking good. Like, I think it's just like his style really complements it, but like, it's kind of nuts to me how good they look. Like, if he's doing prints of some of these, I am absolutely buying one. Like, it's just really cool. Like, the dude can draw.
Well, he's an artist, a professional, so you'd hope so.
Yeah, he's a very good artist, but so looking forward to getting that Fang. But yeah, so looking forward to that. But yeah, Mr. White, thank you for the offer. I will probably take you up on that.
XL Hedge says, bring Mikey all the free G2 Grimlocks.
Yes, or one. I'll take one.
20 it is.
Just one will do, but if you give me 20, I'm going to give them away or sell them. But if you bring me one, I mean, that's not so bad.
You can't like sell them on the day that people just give them all to you, though. That's rude.
In front of the people who gave them to me as well.
Yeah, that's not very considerate. That's
just
not
like,
what you do with a gift.
Look them straight in the eye as I'm doing it.
You meant to like do it on the sly, so they don't know that you've got rid of the thing that they spent time buying for you because they thought you'd
just
like it.
Scare them. And I'm just like, here, and I'm selling it. How much are you selling it for? Tenner.
Yeah, easy.
10,
I just want rid of
pounds.
it. I literally can't fit this in my bag.
But you never go back and talk to them. You just stare.
Hatred in your eyes. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Oh, hang on. Mr. White says, FYI, a Coke, I can manage 20 Grimlocks. I cannot. Well, it sounds like you're not really trying. That's what I'll say, Mr.
Yeah,
White.
I do. I mean, like, you know, many people are going to be spending at least 20 Grimlocks work on beer. So
that is also concerningly true. Yeah. But we're done for this week. I'm going to have to figure out what we do next week while Mikey is away. But then the week after that, I'm sure Mikey will have a TF Nation podcast of some description to.
I will certainly have purchases done.
Nice, cool. Well, until then, everybody, thank you for coming on by. We'll be back here next week at 8 o'clock in the evening on the YouTube and on Twitch. And until next time, we'll see everybody later. Bye-bye, everybody. No bye-bye, Mikey? Okay, no bye-bye, Mikey. Bye-bye, Mikey.
I said goodbye.